But anyway, in the context of that, they were like, well, what about Joe Rogan? And, I'd heard about you at this point, but, the only thing that I had really seen that I really understood, had familiarity with, was like you talking to Bernie Sanders, which, by the way, I very much appreciated hearing that, because a lot of people don't give the guy time to talk.
Yeah, to hear him in those sound bites, you don't really get an understanding of who he actually is. Right,
and this is the other thing. Like, they're like, well, you can go on all these, major network shows, and I did a couple of them. I did like a morning show. I did Brian Williams. But broadly, the media, the sort of more corporatized media, as we might say, is exactly what you just described, right? They want you to be able to answer in like 15 seconds or less. And when we're talking about big, massive shifts in society, when we're talking about power, when we're talking about technology and how it controls and influences us in the future, you can't have a meaningful conversation within those constraints. And so instead, these guys all want to say, repeat these long, discredited sort of criticisms, and I'm sure you'll ask the same thing, and that's okay. They're fair questions, but it's like we can't have the conversation if we can't have this space to think and
right.
breathe and have this sort of discussion. So anyway, they mentioned you, and I was like, Joe Rogan. Where do I know this name from before Bernie Sanders? And I looked back through my Twitter mentions, and the funny thing is your fans have been harassing me to death for like the last years. Wonderful people. But like, go on Joe Rogan.